ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवमुपास्महे। ओम श्री हयग्रीवाय नमः। ओम श्री वल्लभा समेत श्री महागणाधिपतये नमः। We have seen up to the atah-shabda-vichaarah, within which we have also looked into the anubandha chatushtaya. The adhikari is mentioned by the atah-shabda because after becoming an adhikari, thereafter means that this anantaryartha of the atah-shabda tells that one has become an adhikari, therefore, okay, after becoming an adhikari, therefore, we have to do this Brahma Vichara. Now, here this therefore, ataha is taken up now, atah-shabda-vichaarah. So, now let us see this. Atha, atra, atah-shabdaha vicharyate, atah-shabdaha vrittasya hetu bhave iti Ramanujaha. Okay, so ataha means, what is this word conveying here means, it is actually connecting whatever is already said, correct? Whatever is already there, vritta, or whatever is the existing subject matter with whatever is to be told, correct? And between the two, the ataha shabda gives you a cause and or a reason and its effect, you can say. So hetu bhava means whatever was said before, the anantaryartha sadhana chatushtaya sampannaha san ataha, because you are a sadhana chatushtaya sampannaha, therefore you have to do Brahma Vichara, like that. So the sadhana chatushtaya sampannaha becomes a hetu for doing Brahma Vichara. The hetu bhava, in this, in fact, we don't have any problem in accepting this meaning. But now, what is the hetu as given by Ramanuja only is going to be seen now. So here he says, Vrittam karma jnanam vartishyamanasya brahma jnanasya hetuhu iti tadarthaha. So this is where again what Ramanuja is saying, the whatever karma jnanam which is already there, because according to them, atha shabda means purva mimamsa adhyaya anantarya. So the karma jnanam is gained by doing the purva mimamsa adhyayana. And of course, by karma jnana, they also say that you understand that karma phala is asthira and alpa, like that, and only Brahman is sthira and ananta. So that jnanam becomes the hetu for what? Whatever is going to come, which is Brahma jnana. So vartishyamanasya, whatever is going to come, correct? Vartishyamanaha is in future. What is that? Brahma jnanasya hetuhu. So the karma jnana becomes the hetu for Brahma jnana, like this. The ataha artha is given. So now what? Of course, we cannot accept that. So whatever he said, now he says nedam yuktam. So this is not tenable. This is not correct. Why? Karma jnanasya brahma jnanam prati hetutva siddhe. So there is no way you can say that karma jnana is the, at least the direct cause for brahma jnanam. Nobody can claim that. Okay. So there is no hetu mat bhava between karma jnana and brahma jnana. Nahi karma jnanat brahma jnanam janyate. So from the karma jnana, you cannot say that brahma jnana will be produced or it will be born. Like even what? Danda vyaparadiva ghataha. So whenever you do the activity with the stick and the wheel and whatever the potter's activity, you can say that the pot will be produced, correct? Therefore, we can say the danda vyapara, or the activities done with the stick, etc., is the cause for the production of the pot. Like that, we cannot say with reference to karma jnanam and brahma jnanam. Kintu vicharita, vicharitat Vedanta Vakyadeva Brahmajnanam Jayate. So, of course, the Brahmajnana is born only by doing vichara of the Vedanta Vakyas. Tamtu Aupanishadam Purusham Prichhami Ityadi Shrutehe. So, the Shruti also is there. Shruti itself calls this Brahman as Aupanishadam Purusham, means that which can be known only through the Upanishad. Aupanishadam Purusham Prichhami Ityadi Shruti is there. This is the Brihadaranyaka Shruti actually. So, this, in fact, even the Samaveda Shanti Mantra we say, Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam and all that. So, Brahma Upanishadam, Brahma is very popular because only the Upanishads really reveal Brahman. So that's why it is called Upanishadam Purusham, and it can be known only through the Upanishads. So, then where is the question of any Karma Jnanam being the cause for this? Further, what nacha karmanaha kevalasya asthira palakatva jnanat mumukshuhu brahma mimamsayam pravartata iti kritva karma jnanam brahma jnanasya hetuhu iti uktam iti vachyam. Okay, so now the Purva Pakshi comes back and says, no, we are saying that the karma jnana, correct? That too, the kevalam karma jnana cannot produce, of course, brahma jnanam. So what we are really saying is what? The karma jnana means here knowing that karma phala. Okay, kevalam karma phala is asthira and alpa. And because of that, one gets vairagya towards that. And then one wants nitya vastu, and therefore the mumukshu engages in Brahma Mimamsa. Correct? Brahma Mimamsayam pravartate iti kritva karma jnanam brahma jnanasya hetuhu. So we are saying in that manner only karma jnanam is the cause for brahma jnana. Because the understanding that karma phala are all anitya, and what I really need is nitya. Correct? Nitya phalam. So in this manner only we are saying this. But even if you say this, you cannot say that he is saying na vachyam. Why? Because if that is the case, tatha sati atah-shabdasya karmanaha asthira palakatva jnanadityarthaha iti vaktavyatva. So you cannot just say karma jnanam like this. You have to say karmanaha asthira palakatva jnana, because the karma is having asthira pala. And knowing that, then one does pravritti into Brahma Jnanam. But even then, Brahma Jnanam, Astiram and all only can give you Vividisha. Right? It can only give you a desire to know the Nitya. It cannot make you know the Nitya. Any Jnanam has to be produced only by a Pramana. Correct? So, the Pramana Vyapara here is Shravana Manana Nididhyasana, as given in the Upanishad itself. And again, that Shravanam also is only the Vedanta Shravana. So all these being there, you cannot really say that this karma jnanam becomes a hetu for brahma jnanam. Anyway, so he says, at least you should have said like this. But so now he comes back and says, na cha tathaiva vadama iti vachyam. So now the Purva Pakshi says, tathaiva vadam. I am saying that only. Okay. After he says that, now for that also he is not accepting. He says, tathapi brahma jnanam prati karmanaha asthira palakatva jnanasya na hetutvam kintu brahma jnana ichham pratyeva iti neshta siddhihi. So this is what I already said. So even by knowing that karma is alpa, or karma phala is alpa, and it is asthira, etc., it is transient and it is limited, it can only become a hetu for knowing this Brahman. It cannot become the cause for Brahma Jnanam itself. Okay, therefore, even then, even if you say this, whatever you want, it cannot be established. Okay, Neshta Siddhi. You cannot say this also. So why? Because Asthiram karma phalamiti jnanavan hi karmasu tat phaleshu cha vairagyat nitya phalechaya brahma jijnasati. So the one who knows that the karma phala is this anitya and asthira. Okay, and because of that, what tat phaleshu vairagya, you will get vairagya, dispassion towards the karma phala, and then you will have the icha for nitya phala, and only such a person can have brahma jijnasa. In fact, everybody really has only desire for nitya phala. Okay, but they do not really assimilate this. It's a very simple thing, correct? Even I always ask people. Some people say that I don't want moksha and all that. I just want to do whatever whatever I can do in this life and all that, as though that is something great. So even to them, you ask a question. Okay, what do you really want? Do you want to be happy? Means they'll say yes, I want to be happy. So everybody, even some illiterate on the road, you catch hold of and ask him, do you want to be happy? He will say, I want to be happy. Correct? Everybody wants to be happy. Then further you ask, when do you want to be happy? In the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening? Means for that also that person has to say, I want to be happy all the time. This is what everybody wants. You want to be happy all the time. Then further you ask, where do you want to be happy? Do you want to be happy at home? You want to be happy at work? You want to be happy while commuting to work? Whatever. In different places, if you ask, they will say, I want to be happy everywhere. So everybody is really seeking what? Happiness, which is not conditioned by space-time. Unconditional, unqualified happiness is what everybody is really seeking. But you do not really assimilate this fact or dwell over it. If you dwell over it, you will understand that an happiness which is not conditioned by space-time means basically it has to transcend space-time itself, correct? It is limitless happiness then. Because a happiness which is not limited by space and time means it is limitless really. What you are really speaking is Ananta Ananda. Correct? That's what Shruti is teaching you. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So Brahman alone is Ananta. And if it is really Ananta, it cannot be separate from you. Therefore, the Vedanta is very simple actually. Nothing great. So whatever everybody is really seeking is Ananta Ananda, Nitya Ananda only everybody is seeking. But they somehow they have not assimilated this, and still even though they seek Nitya Ananda, they are thinking that by somehow achieving something in this world, they will always be happy, or they think that it is not at all possible. Correct? There is no possibility of that. So whatever I get here in the world, even if it is transitory, I will go for it. Correct? That is also another view. Okay, they can say somebody can negate. There is no Brahman. Taittiriya Upanishad even talks about that, correct? Saying there is no Brahman is like negating yourself, really. Anyway, so uh, this is this particular thing. Once you have analyzed it properly, everybody can actually have vairagya towards all the whatever karma phala. It is nothing great. Okay, so maybe you have to think over this. What you really want, whether you can actually achieve by going after these worldly pursuits, is something you have to think about seriously. And that kind of a viveka should lead you to vairagya, not some vairagya is not some hatred or anything towards things. Understand that everything has its own value, in fact, including money. So you don't have to condemn anything, but you should have an objective understanding towards whether it can really give me what I really want. That is the understanding one should have, and that viveka leading to vairagya is the most important thing here. So vairagya nitya pala ichchaya brahma jignasayati. So once you have this vairagya, means you are really interested only in the Nitya Phala, which is Brahman, and therefore you have a desire to know that. So this Jnanam can only be a cause for the Brahma Jignasa, not Brahma Jnana. Okay. Further what? Nanu atah-shabdasya kevala karmanaha moksha abhavadityarthaha Brahmajnana sahita karmanushthanartham Brahmajnatavyam iti avashishta vakyarthaha iti chet ma evam. Okay. See, the atah-shabdaha, what it actually means is, he is now changing slightly. He says what? The idea is that only by kevala karma, moksha cannot be there. Okay. So, kevala karmanaha, moksha abhavat. So, there is no moksha. Moksha is not possible by only doing karma. But what? With Brahmajnana sahita. But if you mix karma with Brahmajnanam, okay, Brahmajnana sahita karma anushtanartham Brahmajnatavyam iti avashishta vakyarthaha. So, since the atah-shabda, now I am giving a different meaning. Because karma alone cannot give moksha, but Brahmajnana sahita karma can give moksha. Therefore, one has to do Brahma Vichara. Okay, like this, can I not give the meaning now? So the therefore meaning, they have changed now. Okay, so can we give meaning like this? So Brahman has to be known. Why? Because of this reason, karma alone cannot give moksha, but Brahmajnanam along with karma will give me moksha. Therefore, Brahman has to be known. Like that can we take? Okay, means iti chet ma evam, even that it is not possible, it is not in this manner. Why? Tamas tejasoho iva karma jnanayoho samuchayah iti purvameva maya samuchayavadasya asya nirakritatva. So now he says, I have already negated this. Okay, how many times this jnana karma samuchaya? So keep on talking about it, and they have few verses here and there from the Veda also to support it. Okay, there is a Ikavasya Upanishad Vakya is there, correct? Vidyancha, like that. There is one Ikavasya is there. Then Karmanaiva hi samsiddhim astita janakadayaha, like this Gita also is there. And like the other one also we quoted that day, correct? That prapti hetutvam is there. Tat prapti hetutvam, karma and all that. Okay. So there are some vakyas like that, but those have to be actually interpreted properly. So based on that, one cannot just say that jnana karma samuchaya, because in so many other places, Shruti has clearly said jnana deva kaivalyam. Moksha is only through jnanam. And because it is siddha vastu, it is even more clear, correct? Accomplishing the unaccomplished only can be karma phala. Accomplishing the accomplished, you don't have to do any karma. It is purely a jnana vishaya. Why? Because the distance between what you want to accomplish and yourself is purely ignorance. There is no other distance, correct? The vivadhana is only that. And therefore, the detection of the ignorance alone matters, which can only happen through jnanam. So accomplishing the accomplished means there is no question of any karma there. Understand that? And of course, Brahman being Ananta, again, it can never be accomplishing unaccomplished. Understand that? Because what you really want also is Ananta. Ananta, Ananda only everybody wants. If something is Ananta, it cannot be away from you, correct? It has to be available here and now. Otherwise, you cannot even call it Ananta. It is meaningless. So, what you really want is this Ananta Ananda, which cannot be separate from you, which has to be already Siddha, and therefore to accomplish something which is already accomplished, all I require is only Jnanam. So based on all these things, we have already in fact negated the Samuchayavada. He says, Purvameva Maya Samuchayavadasya asya nirakritatva. Therefore, no question of any Jnana Karma Samuchaya. So, Brahma Vichara. Now, Brahma Vichara. 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 Brahma But now also he doesn't accept that. He says, Nacha yuktya eva tvaya nirakritaha natu pramanataha iti vakyam. So you have only given some logic and all that. We don't accept that. What is the pramana for you to say that jnana karma samuchaya cannot give moksha? He says now even that you cannot say. Why? We have given pramana, Shruti pramanasya darshitatvat. So there is Shruti pramana for that. Okay, where that's what he will quote now. Okay, there are so many Shrutis are there. Shvetashvatara Shruti is there. Even Gita also we can talk about. So here athapi yadi asantushtihi tarhi bravimi shrinu. Okay, I have already told you that Shruti pramana is there, or I have shown you. But even after that, okay, athapi yadi asantushtihi, if you are not satisfied, then again I'll tell you. Listen, okay, what are those? Tameva viditva ati mrityumeti nanyah pantha vidyate ayanaya ityadi shrutibhyaha. So having known this Brahman, ati mrityumeti means that one transcends mrityu, one becomes immortal, one transcends the limitation of time itself, correct? And there is no other way. Nanyah pantha vidyate ayanaya. So this Shruti is there. Of course, there are so many other Shrutis also we can quote. Okay. Then another thing he is giving. Tamo nivruttau suryastu yatha nanyad apekshate tata ajnana nivruttau tu jnanam nanyad apekshate tasmat karma pranadya eva jnana shesham nacha anyatha अत एव उक्तमार्गेण तयोः समसमुच्चयः सुतरामेव नास्ति एव सम्यग् उक्तं मया बुधाः इति सूतसंहितावचनात्. Again he is quoting Suta Samhita here. Suta Samhita is a very, very good work. It is part of this Skanda Purana. Of course, I don't know whether Vaishnavas will accept even Suta Samhita as a pramana, but he is quoting Suta Samhita here. Even like 100 years back or 150 years back, people have taught Suta Samhita publicly, because Suta Samhita is not Upanishad, correct? So even in those days, to everybody, if you want to teach Vedanta, one of the texts which have been taught in public is the Suta Samhita, because there used to be there is a place called Kotaganallur near our whatever Kalidai Kurichi, on the banks of Tamraparni only. There one Sundara Swamigal was there. He was a great Jivan Mukta, and he taught in public this Suta Samhita a lot. Okay, this is around more than 100 years back. And so the Suta Samhita is a very good text, and it is saying, what is it saying here? For for the removal of darkness, tamo nivruttau suryastu yatha nanyad apekshate. The Surya does not depend on anything else. Okay, its own light is good enough to remove darkness. Similarly, what tata ajnana nivruttau tu jnanam nanyad apekshate, and to remove ajnana, this jnanam does not depend on anything else. It doesn't have any other dependency. The vritti jnanam itself will destroy ajnana. Therefore, what tasmat karma pranadya eva. Pranadya means indirectly. Okay, pranadya. So karma can be jnana shesha, means what? Jnana shesha means it leads to jnanam, but indirectly it may lead to jnanam, because karma can help you to gain qualification for to gain this jnana, correct? So even in Bhamati, it is said the Bhamati prakriya is there. Even they accept that karma will lead you to Vividisha, because that Vividisha is talked about even in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, correct? Vividishanti, Brahmanaha and all, it is there. So from this, this karma can be an indirect, indirectly it can be helpful for jnana. So pranadya eva jnana shesham na anyatha. Otherwise, it cannot be called as a direct cause for jnanam. So atayeva ukta margena tayo samasamuchchayaha sutaram eva nasti. So therefore, what? As we have already said, the samuchaya, samasamuchchaya also. Samasamuchchaya is definitely not possible. In fact, any samuchchaya is not possible. Of course, samuchaya in the sense like in like I said, indirectly, maybe you can call it samuchaya in one way. Okay. Okay. But otherwise, samuchaya means what? Karma and jnanam together gives you moksha like that. Nobody can say that. Or together destroys ignorance. It doesn't make any sense. There cannot be any samuchaya. There cannot be equally cause for or equal causes with reference to jnanam and moksha. Therefore, it is definitely not like that. He says, Sutaram eva. Okay. Nasti eva samyak uktam maya. It has been well said. Okay. So, like this, the Suta Samhita Vachana is there. And then he is quoting Gita also. Jnanagni sarvakarmani bhasmasat kurute arjuna ityadi Gita Vachanacha. So, the Gita Vachana also is there. So, what else do you want? Okay. And also, okay. Even after saying this, he goes back to that original quote. Tat prapti hetur vijnanam karma cha uktam iti vakyasya tu vijnanam sakshat prapti hetuhu karma kramena tat prapti hetu ityarthaha. Okay, so what about that other verse? Okay, where the tapas and all that was said, correct? Tapasya vidya cha bheshajam. Tapas and vidya together become the medicine for this samsaritvam. And in the prapti heditva is there for also karma like this. It was said. What about that vakya? The Purva can ask. So he is clarifying that also. Even there, vijnana alone is the sakshat prapti hetu. Karma cha uktam is there. Actually, karma also is added because it can be kramena, like I said, in serially it can be useful, not directly, indirectly. Krama in by the whatever karma actually helps you to gain the jnana adhikaritva, we have to say, and in that manner karma is useful. And even tapascha vidyacha, when it is said there, the tapas, the meaning of the word tapas we have to understand there, it is not karma. So tapascha vidyacha iti vakyasya tu tapaschitta aikagriyam ityarthat the samuchaya paratvam. So the tapas there is jnanamayam tapaha in fact. Because the word tapas is coming in Taittiriya Upanishad Bhrigavalli also, correct? So tapasa brahma jnasasva. So the jnanamayam tapaha means again it is vicharatmakam only. And to do vichara, one has to have chitta aikagriya, means one has to have one pointedness. That is very important. That is why the dhyana yoga and all is there in Gita also, correct? So this tapas, which is jnanamayam tapas, is not samuchaya para. It is not really talking about mixing Vaidika karma or any other Laukika karma with jnanam. It is only talking about whatever you have to do to gain this jnana. Okay. So that is the idea here. There is no samuchaya possible. So samuchaya paratvam, na samuchaya paratvam iti bodhyam. It has to be understood like this. There cannot be any mixing up of karma and jnanam, and then you cannot say that is the cause for moksha. So therefore, whatever Ramanuja has said, that karma jnanam becomes the hetu for brahma jnanam, etc., is not correct. So okay, let it be. Now, what are you saying? What is the meaning for this atah-shabda? So, nanu evam atah-shabdasya yadi Ramanuja uktarthaha bhavati duttaha tarhi kaha nirdushtarthaha iti chet. So, what is the, whatever Ramanuja has given meaning, it is dushta, it is defective, let us say. But what is the meaning, which is the correct meaning, okay, which does not have any defects, okay? Can you tell me now? Means, he says, Maya asya shatam arthaha darshitaha शारीरकचतुस्सूत्री विचारनामके ग्रन्थे इति ततः एव ते अवगन्तव्याः. So he is not listing everything here. He says, I have given hundreds of meanings for this atah-shabda, because basically the atah-shabda in the tradition, what we say is, it is to negate any objection with reference to engaging in this Brahma Vichara. Because some people can say, no, even Nitya Vastu Vivekana is not possible, gaining the sadhana chatushtaya is not possible, etc. Even for all that, we say that it is possible because Shruti itself is talking about all those things, correct? So Shruti talks about pariksha lokan karma chitan nasti akritaha kritena, like that. So even there, correct, that itself shows that is nasti akritaha kritena. Kritena nasti, that is good enough to show that there cannot be any jnana karma samuchaya. Because whatever is already the limitless, it can never be any kind of karma phala. In fact, Bhashyakara in the Brihadaranyaka Bhashya also, he engages in this discussion very detailed. He shows that karma phala can be only in 4 different categories. Correct? Either you create something newly, or so that is called you utpatti. Correct? Utpatti can be there. Karma phala can create, like a pot is newly created, or it can purify something, samskarya. So utpadya, samskarya. So samskarya means what? It can purify something. So every day I have panchapatra, it is copper. Every day I clean with, let us say, tamarind. It becomes bright, but tomorrow morning again it has to be cleaned. That is so correct. Every day, in fact, dishes we have to do. So you can clean something, or karma can do vikarya, means you can modify. So we are all South Indians. Every day we have to have curd rice, correct? And how do we get curd? Means every day I have to take milk and add some culture to that existing curd. Then it will become curd the next day. It modifies. So karma can be used to modify something or metamorphose something. Okay. And the other thing, finally, what karma can be used to reach somewhere. Aptavya also is there. So I want to go from Kaldai-Kurchi to Chennai, means karma can help me doing that. But none of these things, only 4 categories of results can be there for karma. These 4, and none of these things can apply for Ananta. Understand this. The Brahman, which is Ananta, can neither be produced in time. Correct? It can never be produced in time, because it itself is the cause of time itself. Correct? So Bhashyakara says that if you take the Taittiriya Upanishad Bhashya, the Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma is there. In that Bhashya, so he says that Brahman is Satyam and Anantam, means it is actually cause of even space and also time. So that means we always had an understanding that space-time itself is created, even though that understanding did not come even in the scientific community. Only some 100 years before, people started thinking of space and time as something created. Otherwise, everybody thought space-time is absolute. Correct? The entire classical mechanics is based on the idea that space-time is absolute, and some fixed stars and all that, they can measure based on that. So that is not the case. Really speaking, space-time is created even according to science now. Anyway, we don't have to get into that. What I am saying is, Brahman transcends space-time because it is the cause of space-time itself, and therefore you cannot reach it in space. Correct? You cannot say that I have to go to Vaikuntha to be with Brahman. It is very silly actually. So it cannot be reached also. It cannot be produced in time, and you don't have to go somewhere to reach, because it has to be available here. Time wise also, you don't have to go somewhere there in future or anything. Now it has to be available. So here and now it has to be available. The other thing is, okay, what about purifying Brahman? Means Brahman is Nitya Shuddha. So Nitya Shuddha it is. It is not like every day I have to clean my Panchapatra, or every time we do Achamanam. Correct? Achamanam is for purification. It is Mantara Shuddhi. In fact, when we give the meaning for the word Shuddha with reference to Brahman, what we say is, it is not pure from the standpoint that it was impure and now it has become pure or something like that. There, the Nitya Shuddha means it cannot be subjected to any impurity at all. That is the idea of that Shuddhatvam there. Is it clear? That which can never be even tainted by anything. Because it is Asanga, it is not in touch with anything really speaking. It cannot be connected to anything because it is Niravayava. All that, Nirguna and all that. So that which is Niravayava, which doesn't have any parts, which doesn't have any qualities, therefore it is not connected to anything, how can you taint it? So all these things by implication is very clear. So this samskarya also will not work, and Brahman is nishkriya, nirvikara also. It doesn't undergo any change, it is of the same nature always. That's why it is satyam, correct? The definition of satyam, Bhashyakara gives beautifully, correct? Again in that Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Bhashya, if you go and read, so yad rupena yen nishchitam bhavati, tad rupena tanna vyabhicharati iti satyam. So that is the definition of satya. Means once you have ascertained as this, then that's it. It will never change. That which never changes its nature alone is satya. Everything else which is changing, they are all only anrita. Okay. If vichara is there, if any change is there, means it will be only anrita. It is all mithya. Satyam means once you have ascertained it is like this, it never changes, and only one thing qualifies like that. What is that? Aham. Myself, Atma, because I am always of the nature of consciousness, correct? It never leaves me. My individuality leaves actually. That's why individuality one should not take very seriously. The individuality you have right now itself is transient. That is not your nature, in fact. In dream, you get another individuality. In deep sleep, you are actually free of space time, also, correct? Everybody can very easily understand what is transcending space time. Because every night when you have deep sleep, you are there, correct? Existence is there, but not in space time, correct? Without any space time, existence is there. That is the real existence. Normally, otherwise, we think existing means existing in space time, correct? That itself is avidya. This Ananta Satyam, the Ananta Pada along with Satyam, Bhashyakara says, in fact, even in that Bhashya, means that the Sat, the Lakshyartha of the Satyam is actually to show you that this Brahman is not an existing thing in space time, but it transcends space time really. It is existence, san matram it is. Right? Nyapti matram, similarly. Consciousness also, it is not vritti jnanam. There is no vikriya or any change or anything. This is, we recognize two types of jnanam, correct? The Advaitins only recognize like that, I think. Even the Buddhists who are Vijnana Vadins, they mistake the Buddhi Vritti as Vijnana. But when we talk about this Nyapti Matram means consciousness alone, which is your very nature. And that is the only thing which never changes. You are always the conscious being, whether you are knowing something or whether you are not knowing something. Because even to know that I did not know anything, that consciousness has to be there, correct? That's what we say. You get up and say, I did not know anything, I slept well. How did you know that? Because you were conscious. The consciousness never sleeps, in fact. The sleep is only for the Antakarana. Antakarana resolves. That's why this you are actually the alupta drik. Right? Drigeva, natu drishyam. So you are the drik, and being the drik means your nature is that you are always a conscious being. So that never goes away. So that is the thing one has to understand. So if that is the case, none of these four types of karma phala is meaningful with reference to attaining Brahman. In fact, the only problem is avidya, and that can go only by jnanam. Therefore, jnana alone is required. There is no role for karma. Karma, the only role for karma can be with reference to preparing you for this knowledge. Okay. So karma can never be sakshat karana for jnanam or avidya nivritti, and avidya nivritti alone is moksha. It is very clearly said in so many places in the Shruti. So therefore, no, correct? The atah-shabda, this is the meaning for atah-shabda. Any kind of opposing view you bring and say that Brahma Vichara should not be done, or Brahman itself, there is nothing called Brahman, etc., we will quote. In fact, like this, that I took the Shariraka Chatusutri Vichara also, that book is there with me. So I went through that ataha portion of that. Actually, he has given so many opposing views and given samadhana for each one, ataha, like that. So that is the meaning of atah-shabda. So literally, shatamarthaha darshitaha, he says, really it is true. You can go and check that. Okay. So any kind of view opposing the meaning which is given by Adi Shankara, if you propose, for all of them we give samadhana, and therefore after that you have to do only this Brahma Vichara. So that is the atah-shabda-vichaarah. And after that what? Brahma Jignasa Padartha Vicharaha. One has to do the vichara of what is the meaning of Brahma Jignasa. Brahmanaha Jignasa. The desire to know Brahman. So atha Brahma Jignasa Shabda Vicharaha Vitanyate. Brahmanaha Jignasa Brahma Jignasa. So it is Shakti Tatpurusha. Brahmanaha Jignasa. But what is the meaning of this Shashti? Okay. So here, does the Shashti show some sambandha or it is showing the karma? Correct? So here he says Brahmanaha iti karmani shashti. So here it is karmani shashti. So when we say knowledge of Brahman, means Brahman is the Vishaya. Correct? Jnana Vishaya it is. And the desire to have that Jnanam is Brahma Jignasa. So Brahman is the Jnana Vishaya here. Being the Jnana Vishaya, it is karmani shashti we have to say. So it is the object of knowledge here. So ichchayaha ishyamana pradhanatvat brahma jnanam vidheyam. Okay. So again, but basically Brahma Jignasa also we have to take it as Brahma Jnanam only, he says. Why? Because the desire is for what? Something which you have to achieve, correct? Which you want to gain. So the desired is the most important thing in desire. So ishyamana pradhanatvat brahma jnanam vidheyam. Okay. So this is Brahma Jnanam only you have to understand by Brahma Jignasa. And Brahmacha Nirdosha Sakala Kalyana Gunaha Sarveshwaraha Purushottamaha iti Ramanujaha. So then Ramanuja only claims all these things. So then he says this Brahman is without any defects, because even this Nirgunaha and all these people interpret very funnily. They say Nirheya Gunaha. It's not that it is literally Nirguna. Nirheya guna means what? It does not have any guna which can be given up or which is bad or whatever. That is what same thing here. Nirdoshaha, defectless. Sakala kalyana gunaha means has all the kalyana gunas only. All the auspicious qualities only Brahman has. I don't know how this Sakala kalyana gunaha even maps with the even the 11th chapter of Gita you take, correct? Where all terrible things are also said. In fact, Arjuna becomes afraid seeing the Vishwarupa Darshana. Because in Bhagavan everything is there, correct? Even if you take Rudra Prashna, there the Rudra is talked about as all kinds of thieves, etc. Correct? You take the third Anuvaka there. Okay. Namah Sahamanaya Nivyadhina Vyadhini Nam Pataye Namo Namah Kakubhaya Nishangine Stena Nam Pataye Namo Namah. So Stena Nam Patihi, you are the head of all the thieves. Naktancharaha. And again, what some thieves who come only at night, correct? All these things are there. Everything is Rudra for us, correct? Whether good, bad, ugly, everything is Ishvara in our drishti. So this Sakala Kalyana Guna Sampannaha and all is only maybe you can say for even the Vibhuti Yoga. in the 10th chapter of Gita, Bhashyakara, Shankara finally says that it is actually because you cannot say only the Vibhuti alone is Bhagavan, correct? Everything is Bhagavan for us. But Vibhuti alone we can focus, that is only Dhyayatvam. For Dhyayatva, for doing Dhyana of Bhagavan, for developing Bhakti, it is good. You can consider Bhagavan as Kalyana Guna Sampannaha. Saguna Brahma Upasana is facilitated by that. But in your understanding, you cannot say that Bhagavan is only having Kalyana Guna and all that. It doesn't really make any sense. Anyway, so here Ramanuja is saying like this Brahman here is Nirdosha Sakala Kalyana Gunaha Sarveshwaraha Purushottamaha. Of course, Purushottama word Bhagavan uses in the Gita also, correct? So in the 15th chapter, Bhagavan uses this word to show that Ksharasya Akshara. There is a Kshara Purusha, Akshara Purusha, and this Purushottama transcends both. Like that, this Purushottama is used there. So Ramanuja is taking that. In fact, I was reading that Ramanuja Bhashya for Etat Buddhva Buddhiman Syat Kritakrityasya Bharata. Yesterday we quoted that, correct? And that Kritakrityaha, the meaning, of course, there is no difference in the Vyutpatti of that word itself. Okay, both Shankara and Ramanuja are taking it as Bahurihi. So, Kritam Krityam Yena Saha is Kritakrityaha. So, by whom whatever is to be done has been done. Correct? But here also Ramanuja restricts it, saying that whatever is to be done to become this Buddhiman, you have done. Correct? Buddhiman, because Etat Buddhva Buddhiman Syat is there. So he is connecting that Kritakritya with Buddhiman and says that to become Buddhiman, whatever is to be done, you have done. And even after having this Buddhi, he says, it's very funny, in fact, he says that you have gained this Jnanam now, but still you don't have Sakshatkara, because according to them, you cannot have Bhagavad Sakshatkara here. You have to, Vidya Mukti only is there, right? You have to give up this body, go to Vaikuntha, then only you will have Sakshatkara. Otherwise, there is no Sakshatkara, he says. So, this Kritakritya meaning also, he has to make it differently. This Purushottama Jnanam you have, he says, in fact, there. You have the Jnanam of Purushottama, but you don't have Sakshatkara. Like this meaning is given here. Anyway, so this is what Ramanuja says. And therefore, there what? Jnanam Tarka Rupameva Natu Phala Rupam. In fact, that's what I told you now. So, this Jnanam, what they are talking about is only in the form of whatever you have analyzed all the Shastra and you have arrived at some conclusion about Purushottama, but it does not give you Sakshatkara. The Jnana does not give any Jnana Phalam immediately. Okay. So there is no Mukti. Like this, also they say, this comes out even in that Bhashya, as I told you, correct? That Etat Buddhva Buddhiman Syat, you go and read that Bhashya of Ramanuja. Clearly it says that you can have Purushottama Jnanam, but there is no, the Jnana Phalam you don't have. Sakshatkara is not there. So, and also Sruta Prakashikakara also expands on that. I think I haven't read that Sruta Prakashika portion. So he is further going into that. He is saying, Tasya avidheyatvat sanprateyastu vicharasya raga praptatva jnapanarthaha iti Sruta Prakashikakaraha. Okay, so this phala is not vidheya there, but jnanam alone is there. And san pratyaya alone, all these mumuksha, jignasa and all are coming from the san pratyaya. Correct? And when the san pratyaya comes, the dhatu itself comes two times. Correct? The duplication happens. There are Paniniya Sutra and all that for that. And san pratyaya comes in the meaning of this raga only, the desire to do something. Correct? So, vicharasya raga praptatva jnapanarthaha only, because the san pratyaya comes in the meaning of desire to do the vichara alone. Okay. Therefore, you don't get even the jnana phalam you don't get. You have only desire to do vichara. That's all it says. Brahma jignasa means, like this, the Shruta Prakashikakara is saying, even that is not tenable. Like this, he starts here. All these arguments we'll see in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.